Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sports Stories channel. I'm your host Seiji McSwain, and for today's episode I'm going to be going over my 2023 NFL mock draft, since the draft is happening in about a month or so. So I thought now that we've got kind of the first wave of free agency done, it'd be probably the best time to do a mock draft. Probably not much development will be going on with most of these teams, probably up until draft night. So without further ado, let's get right into this mock draft. Now coming in with the first selection, after a trade with the Chicago Bears sending DJ Moore over to Chicago and the Panthers getting the first pick, the Carolina Panthers are now on the clock, and they select CJ Stroud, quarterback out of Ohio State. And for a Panthers squad whose free agency choices indicate a win now attitude, Stroud appears to be a day one starter. The Ohio State star could give Carolina a shot to contend in the weak NFC South. He provides a sparkling combination of accuracy and composure. Stroud has a big arm, a hard temperament, and is an extremely polished and effective passer. He was the second-ranked pro-style quarterback in the nation when he was a former four-star prospect from Rancho Cucamonga, California, and he wasted little time playing up to that reputation. He won the starting spot for the Buckeyes in 2021 after redshirting as a true freshman, and threw for 4,435 yards and 44 touchdowns with just 6 interceptions to lead Ohio State to a Rose Bowl victory. In 2022, Stroud led the Buckeyes to the college football playoff, another stellar season, compiling 3,688 yards and 41 touchdowns, again with just 6 picks. In back-to-back seasons, he was a Heisman nominee and the team's quarterback with a 21-4 record. Stroud releases his throws quickly and over the top from a wide, balanced platform. He can easily slide out of pressure or step up to make a throw because of his great ability to feel for the pocket. He exhibits the ability to throw with anticipation, frequently throwing the ball before the intended recipient has made a break or separated from the defender. To layer his throws over second-level defenders and hit his target in stride, he can reduce the velocity of his throws. He routinely provides the receivers, or his receivers, an opportunity to make a play against tight coverage, throwing them open by placing the ball where only they can reach it. He looks off safeties to manipulate coverage. Stroud has a highly attractive deep ball and has 29 huge throws in 2022, according to PFF. Yet Stroud rarely shown his ability to create plays outside of the rules, and at times he played almost robotically, including instances where he seemed to predetermine throws. He made several incredibly impressive improvised plays, including 2 separate touchdown passes where he eluded pressure and the team's narrow CFP loss to Georgia, allaying concerns about his ability to handle pressure and create outside of structure, but those types of plays were scant on his college tape. In college, Stroud rarely opted to scramble. At the next level, he could need to improve his second actions and his second action abilities. He also frequently hitches up twice before throwing, which throws off his timing. Now with the second pick, the Houston Texans will select Bryce Young, coming out of Alabama, obviously a quarterback. The Texans were denied the opportunity to choose Stroud because to their incredible Week 18 victory over the Colts, but Young is a fantastic substitute. The playmaker for the Crimson Tide will join a stronger offensive unit as a result of free agency. Over the previous several weeks, the squad added veterans Robert Woods, Dalton Schultz, Noah Brown, and Devin Singletary to their roster, along with young players Dameon Pierce, Nico Collins, and John Mechie III. Young has exceptional field vision, a precise arm, and a remarkable talent for maintaining plays outside of the structure, making him a natural playmaker at quarterback. How much his lack of size will hinder him at the next level is a key question that clubs will be asking. and is actually the biggest question of the entire draft. Young, a former 5-star prospect out of Santa Ana, California, was the top-ranked dual-threat quarterback in the nation, and once he started for the Crimson Tide in 2021, he wasted little time living up to that reputation. In 15 games that year, he passed for 4,872 yards, 47 touchdowns, and just 7 interceptions, guiding the Crimson Tide to the national title game. Young's ability to read defensive coverages and consistently know where to go with the football is his defining quality. He has a natural feel for the pocket and, crucially for a quarterback of his caliber, feels at ease attacking the middle of the field. He has the ability to read the entire field and quickly scan his progressions. Although he lacks a cannon for an arm, he still shows the ability to place the ball where only his receiver can catch it by throwing with anticipation and accuracy deep. His 4th touchdown pass versus Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl served as a superb illustration of this. Young plays very well in a structured environment, but when things go wrong, he has a natural feel for the game. Yet some organizations may find Young's stature to be a deal breaker. His lack of general mass as well as his height will raise questions. His long-term viability will be highly contested. Young also has average arm strength and frequently uses a narrow base, which causes the ball to lose momentum on the back end of his throws. He can scramble well, but he lacks explosiveness as a runner. So he might never be the highlight of the run game the way Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray have been throughout their careers. Now here at the 3rd pick, I'm going to have my only trade happening, and this is going to be between the Colts and the Arizona Cardinals. So the Arizona Cardinals currently hold the 3rd pick, but I'm going to have them trade down with the Colts. So the Colts trade their 4th round pick along with a 3rd round pick, number 79 of this draft, a 4th round pick, number 106 in this draft, and a 2024 3rd round pick, again to move up to spot the 3rd selection, while the Cardinals move down to the 4th pick. So now with the 3rd pick, the Colts will have selected Anthony Richardson, quarterback coming out of Florida. Now in order to prevent other QB needy teams from leapfrogging them, the Colts opt to go get their guy by trading up in one place with the Cardinals. Richardson is inexperienced, having made just 13 starts, yet he possesses extremely uncommon physical abilities as a runner and passer. A read option and run-centric offense that accentuates Richardson's skill set and gives him the chance to polish his passing skills could be implemented by incoming head coach Shane Steichen. In the manner of Jalen Hurts, Richardson has an enormous rock-solid physique and quick movements. He was the 9th-ranked dual-threat quarterback in his class and a former 4-star prospect from Gainesville, Florida. In 2022, after redshirting in his freshman year, he took over a full-time starter, throwing for 2,549 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. In 12 games, while also rushing for 103 times for 654 yards and 9 touchdowns. Richardson's arm is unfastened and alive. He can throw on the run and whip deep outs to the sideline with ease. He can throw a sidearm and get the ball past approaching rushers because he possesses the torque to make throws off balance or off platform. He can also lower his arm angle. Although his fastball is good, he occasionally shows the ability to take some mustard off of it and deliver accurate long passes. He moves in a practical manner, feeling the need to shift his weight and move his feet side to side to maintain himself tidy. He makes throws with bodies surrounding him and maintains his composure in the pocket as a play-in being developed. He plays tough in the pocket, is big and strong, and has the ability to elude defenders. Richardson is difficult to evaluate because of his inconsistent play. He has a high degree of variability, so you can watch some games where he appears to be the top choice and others where he appears to be a student who should have stayed in school. He can be too unpredictable with his timing, ball placement, and decision making, and he has patchy downfield accuracy. In 2022, he only succeeded on 54% of his attempts, part of the blame, though, should go to his receivers. When he has players choosing in on him or closing in on him, he will force passes into coverage. At other times, he looks to predetermined throws. He is prone to get agitated and making more mistakes. Also, organizations might hesitate because he has only 13 starts in his career. And going a little off script here, I think Anthony Richardson reminds me a lot of Malik Willis. Not, just because they're both black quarterbacks, but I think the same concerns from everybody around them, the amount of starts, the ability that they have, the rawness of the talent, yet it's just not refined. And that was something that dropped Malik Willis down a whole lot. A lot of people had him as a first round pick, but he just continued to fall. He goes to the Tennessee Titans, and in his start with the Tennessee Titans, it just didn't look good. And maybe he just needs more time to refine his skills and get a little bit better as a quarterback. And that's something that the Tennessee Titans could eventually go into, especially with Ryan Tannehill getting a little bit older and the Titans seeming, to break up their really good team right now. So I'm not sure, but Anthony Richardson really reminds me of Malik Willis. Just, that's why I was a little bit wary, but I feel that the Colts are in now for a quarterback, and with the combine that Anthony Richardson had, I think his stock definitely went up, and the Colts probably will take him here, or definitely trade up for him. Now, with the trade with the Colts, the Arizona Cardinals get the 4th pick now, so the Cardinals get edge rusher Will Anderson Jr. coming out of Alabama. Now, the Cardinals still get their man Will Anderson after trading a few selections to drop one spot. In Jonathan Gannon's revamped Arizona defense, the explosive edge rusher serves as a nice cornerstone component and provides the squad with a star player to build upon. He ought to have an immediate influence. Anderson has a strong, tapered physique with long arms and a well-developed foundation. He was a former 5-star quarterback from Hampton, Georgia, who was rated as the top weak side defensive end in the nation, as well as the 17th best player in his class overall. In his first season, he had an early impact for the Crimson Tide, earning second-team All-SEC recognition after recording 7 sacks and 10.5 tackles for loss. In 2021, Anderson set a national record for sacks, 17.5, 33.5 tackles for loss, and 82 pressures, and followed up in 2022 with 10 sacks, 17 tackles for loss, and 65 pressures. For both of those seasons, Anderson was named to the AP first team All-American team and received the Bronco Nagurski Trophy. Anderson uses both 2-point and 3-point stances, uncoils at the snap, and immediately possesses a high side edge threat. His bull rush transforms his quick step into power, forcing opposing tackles onto the pocket with a powerful two-handed punch. He is skilled at using an efficient counter step or spin move to return his rush to the inside. And he also uses a fantastic push-pull move to entice opponents to advance. He drives opponents off their positions by grabbing hold of them with his long arms. Although he is not the most flexible athlete, he has a unique toolkit to pursue the passer. At Alabama, he essentially lived in the backfields of his opponents. He can drop blocks and maintain his cleanliness when facing the run, keeping his eyes in the backfield and establishing a firm edge. He utilizes good leverage while playing low. He pursues the action from the backside and closes quickly and with excellent acceleration. He can carry it back out into the flats and has experience dropping into zone coverage even if it's not his area of expertise. He's a 3-down player. After taking the opening step, Anderson occasionally became stalemated, so he'll need to keep honing his repertoire of counter moves. In the run game, he occasionally concedes some yardage and can be pushed off his position or down the line when attempting to establish the edge. He occasionally loses the track of the ball carrier and was an erratic tackler. He might need to gain weight for the next level because he's a little bit small for an edge rusher, but I feel at number 4, Arizona the Cardinals can't go wrong here in choosing him, especially with the retirement of J.J. Watt. Now coming in at number 5, the Seattle Seahawks would have, 5, sorry, I thought I accidentally said 6. Coming in with the 5th pick, the Seattle Seahawks will draft edge rusher Tyree Wilson coming out of Texas Tech. Now, by acquiring Wilson at this position, the Seahawks fill a critical positional need by gaining a big, strong 3-down edge defender who can help set the tone on the defensive line. Wilson gives Seattle another incentive player who can pursue opposing quarterbacks because of his exceptional length and playing strength. Wilson has an unreal length to his broad shoulders, bulked up physique. You won't be able to convince me that he isn't actually 3 edge rushers standing on each other's shoulders in a football uniform, because he towers over everyone. Wilson, a former 3-star prospect from New London, Texas, started his college career at Texas A&M and played a rotational role there for 2 seasons before transferring, making his Texas Tech debut in 2021. There, as a junior, he recorded 7 sacks and 13.5 tackles for loss in 13 games. The next season, in 2022, he recorded 7 more sacks and 14 tackles for loss in 10 games, totaling 50 pressures, tied 16th on PFF, and 16% pressure rate, ranked 4th on ESPN. Wilson relies on his quick first step, powerful hands, and significant upper body torque to routinely enter the backfield. He defeats opponents with unmatched strength and tenacity, and he never stops moving his feet. He brings some vigor to avoid tackles on the outer edge while displaying efficient inside counter moves to confuse blockers. He transforms speed into strength and enjoys driving opponents into the pocket or the running lane by forcibly removing them from their positions with his long arm stab move. He possesses powerful hands that resemble meat hooks, making it difficult to shake him off once he grips on. He is disruptive even if he doesn't make it all the way home. On some of the plays in his tape, he pushes a tackle into the quarterback or running back. Wilson has great range as a run defender thanks to his length. He's strong at the point of attack, and it is unfair for him to line up against tight ends. He makes a nice attempt to tackle down the play and displays good backside pursuit. He also drops into space with remarkable ease, using his long arms to obstruct passing lanes and deter quarterbacks from throwing to his vicinity. Wilson is a unique athlete with a high floor as a run defender and edge setter. However, some teams would see him as a tweener. He might not possess the genuine explosiveness to regularly threaten off the edge or the high-end bend and agility to play as a wide 9 rusher. While he is the kind of player who should produce solid tackles for the lost stats, some clubs might be skeptical of his potential to create double-digit sacks. Now coming in with the 6th pick, this one came from the Rams in the trade with Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. The Detroit Lions will select defensive lineman Jalen Carter coming out of Georgia. Now, Carter is a significant addition to the Lions' defensive line where they need reinforcements. He offers a disruptive force against both the run and the pass. Carter's a force multiplier who, by attracting double teams or displacing the quarterback from his position, should enable teams' top choice from the previous year, Aiden Hutchinson, perform better. Carter is a defensive lineman who is strong, bulky, and well-proportioned with no excess body fat on his frame. He was a former 5-star prospect from Apopka, Florida, and according to 24/7 Sports, he was the nation's 4th-ranked defensive tackle and the top player of his class overall. He has contributed 15.5 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 66 pressures, 4 pass knockdowns, and 2 forced fumbles to the strong Georgia defense that has propelled the Bulldogs to back-to-back national championships. Despite missing 2 games due to a knee injury in 2022, he was named the AP First Team All-American. In order to throw opposing offensive linemen off balance, Carter sets up in a variety of positions along the defensive front. He then uses an explosive first step and exceptional lateral quickness. Using a variety of techniques such as a club rip, a spin move, and a leaping Euro step, he frequently enters the backfield. He performs stunts where he shoots from gap to gap, and he's not dodging opponents. He has the bulldozer strength to force even the toughest guards back into the quarterback. Carter is skilled with his hands. He can deliver a punch that knocks linemen to the ground before they realize what just happened. Carter performs effectively against the run even when faced with regular double teams. He can close ground quickly and wrangle the ball carrier with his length and quickness, which gives him good range as a tackler. Sometimes Carter falls to the ground because he was either caught lunging or playing too upright. On the packed Georgia line, where he played in a heavy rotation, his sack output wasn't particularly impressive. Teams will need to investigate his MCL injury, which caused him to miss some time in the early part of the season. Regarding Carter's role in a car accident in January that claimed the lives of a Georgia teammate and a recruiter while injuring 2 others, police in Athens, Clark County, have issued a warrant for his arrest. Carter has been charged with the careless driving and racing, both of which are considered misdemeanors in Georgia. Because the warrant claims that he was competing in a race between a 2021 Ford Expedition and a 2021 Jeep Trackhawk, Carter first claimed he was a mile away when the collision happened, but according to Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Carter's statements to police regarding his involvement in the collision have changed during the course of the inquiry. Carter announced in a statement that he will go back to Athens to face the minor charges. That's something that that did definitely bring his draft stock down, especially after this. He went to Georgia's Pro Day, didn't look like in the best shape and wasn't really completing his drills. Then again, with a case like this that did take lives, there is some psychological effects that could happen to the suspect, in this case Jalen Carter. So there's a lot going on right now regarding him. But I think he still is a first-round draft pick. I think he definitely is a player that can do well. I think just at this time, definitely a lot of decisions were made that were not good, and I think that's definitely what's affecting him now. But then again, I feel that as an athlete, once you're back and once everything, I guess, kind of is behind him now, I think he'll definitely be a better athlete after that. Now coming in with the 7th pick, the Las Vegas Raiders select cornerback Christian Gonzalez coming out of Oregon. Now in free agency, the Raiders made some significant adjustments to their offensive line, bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback and Jacoby Myers at receiver, while dealing tight end Darren Waller. They now make a crucial defensive play by snagging Gonzalez, a cornerback with exceptional athleticism. In the AFC West, which is full of talented quarterbacks, the Oregon star will strengthen a crucial position for Las Vegas. Gonzalez is a rising playmaker with exceptional coverage skills. He is tall with long arms and a sinewy physique. A former 4-star prospect from the Colony, Texas, he began his college career at Colorado before transferring to Oregon before 2022. While there, he recorded 10 pass deflections and 5 tackles for loss in 2 seasons. In 12 games for the Ducks, he recorded 51 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 7 passes defended. Earning first team All Pac-12 recognition, Gonzalez is composed, collected, and self-assured in press coverage, continually rising up in the face of his adversary, to jam and redirect. He is adept at mirroring anticipated opponents' moves, copying their footwork, and securing himself on the receiver's hip when in coverage. He clocked in at 23.3 miles per hour on the GPS in 2021. According to Bruce Feldman's Freaks List, he exhibits awareness, knowing when to bend his head to find the ball and swat it away. He offers great speed to take a receiver downfield. By intercepting 4 passes in 2021, he dispelled concerns about his early career lack of ball production. When changing direction in coverage, he is constantly balanced and exhibits hardly any wasted motion of error in his steps. Gonzalez is an aggressive player, but at the next level, he might need to tone it down a little. He is grabby and the entire route and is prone to biting on double moves. At the next level, that might raise flags. He's on the thin side and might try to develop stronger and bulkier in the pros. Gonzalez has no selections prior to 2022, and Also, another thing is, I mean, he's going to be practicing against one of the best wide receivers in the league in Davante Adams. So I think definitely he's going to be able to, grow as a player, especially when you're going to have to be practicing against, a guy like Davante Adams, or even a guy like Hunter Renfrow or Jacoby Myers. I mean, a lot of wide receivers on that team could definitely give him a run for his money. I think will definitely improve his, tenure as a player in Las Vegas. Now coming with the 8th pick, the Atlanta Falcons select edge Myles Murphy coming out of Clemson. Now in 2022, the Falcons produced a league worst 14.6% pressure rate while only recording 21 sacks, which was the second worst in the league. This is a good place to take Murphy in order to address that serious problem. Murphy is a big, long-legged athlete with the right amount of mass and a broad range of abilities. He was a former 5-star prospect from Powder Springs, Georgia, who was rated as the nation's top strong-side defensive end and the 7th best player overall. He played with the Tigers for 3 seasons and had a productive season in 2022, recording 6.5 sacks and 11 tackles for loss in 13 games. He finished his career with 17.5 sacks and 36.5 tackles for loss in 38 games, capping a successful one. With a powerful initial step, Murphy rushes perfectly timing to the snap to explode off the line and quickly threaten the edge. He can get low and flatten toward the quarterback and has the speed to threaten the edge. In addition to having a deadly long arm stab technique where he fires his hand into an opponent's chest and forces them to back into the pocket, his rapid off aids is in speed and power. He sometimes appears to virtually take his adversaries off their feet, their adversaries, I should say. He uses a few counter moves, including a powerful push-pull move and a classy spin. With his long arms and fast placement, Murphy can stag defenders against the run, push runners aside, and shed blocks to make the tackle. He is really powerful. Murphy has a great get-off, but all too frequently he falters when an offensive lineman touches him. He has to expand on his first step foundation by developing more counter moves. When guarding the mesh point, he frequently overruns the pocket and loses sight of the ball. Now with the 9th pick, the Chicago Bears got this one from the trade with the Panthers. The Chicago Bears draft tackle Peter Skoronski coming out of Northwestern. Now the Bears select a superb offensive lineman here after making a sizable haul to slip out of the top overall pick. Skoronski, a native of Chicago, isn't very long, but he makes up for it in pretty much everywhere else, giving the Bears a dependable, tough lineman who excels at both pass and run blocking. Chicago gains what should be a dependable lineman for a very long time. Whether he plays tackle or guard, Skoronski has a low-cut body type, a broad, barrel-chested frame, and short arms. He was a 4-star prospect out of Park Ridge, Illinois, and the 3rd-ranked center prospect in the nation. He was also a high school basketball player, a shot putter, and the grandson of former Packers Hall of Famer Bob Skoronski. He replaced Rashawn Slater, the former Wildcats left tackle who is currently with the Chargers, who opted out in 2020, at the blindside spot right away and made an early contribution to the team. He started 31 games over the course of his final 3 seasons at Northwestern and was a 3-year starter. Skoronski is a superb pass defender with exceptional balance and simple mirroring techniques. He uses a low center of gravity and a stable base when playing, and he exhibits a fluid, effective kick step to gain depth and keep up with speed rushers. He maintains composure when in pass protection, never losing it as he sets and resets his hands to block punches. He maintains a flat back and moves his feet while latching on while maintaining his hands within. He blocks with a supple core, demonstrating the capacity to take a long arm stab and still maintain his footing to halt the rush. When a pass rusher gets a stride on him, he doesn't hold. Instead, he diverts his opponent to carry. Skoronski displays quick footwork in the run game to get to defenders, swivel his hips, and set himself up on block defenders on backside runs. In order to knock opponents off the field, he fires his hands at them. He is physically equipped and has the necessary skill to set to play any of the 5 positions on the field. Skronsky is a fundamentally solid left tackle, but he might not meet some teams' physical requirements, which could lead to a shift inside. He occasionally gets caught lunging, and his hands might occasionally land wide on the shoulder pads. Now coming in at the 10th pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select edge rusher Nolan Smith coming out of Georgia. While Smith is a little tiny, he more than makes up for it with genuinely remarkable edge explosiveness. The Eagles, who have a history of success, believe that you can never have too many quality pass rushers. Therefore, they make the choice to sign a player here who can contribute right away to the edge rotation. Smith has a streamlined physique and is a loose, supple athlete who exhibits dazzling pass rush ability. He was a former 5-star prospect from Bradenton, Florida, who was rated as the best player in the entire nation. He played for the Bulldogs for 4 years and was a crucial part of the team back-to-back national title runs. In 38 career games, he recorded 110 tackles, 20 tackles for loss, 12.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 3 pass knockdowns, and a pick. In 8 games in 2022, he recorded 3 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, and 19 pressures before suffering a torn pectoral that ended the season. Smith can get low, flat into the pocket, and dive under a block to get to the quarterback despite being slightly undersized when rushing off the edge. He displays good flexion and uses his long arms to punch into the chests of his opponents while keeping them away from his body. He frequently uses a club move to get at the outside of the shoulder of the offensive tackles and possesses a strong inside counter to get through the B-gap. He demonstrates an efficient hump move in which he causes the offensive tackle to overset to the outside before pushing him upfield and out of the way with his inside arm. When he enters the backfield, he exhibits quick closing ability. Smith demonstrated his endurance in the run game by stringing out runs out near the sidelines before shedding the block to make the stop. To maintain his position, he establishes a significant edge and stacks opponents. He lowers himself to the ground and dips his shoulder to avoid block attempts in the air. He has strong range to square up and bring down the ball carrier in a tackle. He strikes forcefully and with great angles. Due to his small stature, Smith's sack totals in Georgia's defensive line rotation were not very high. Larger, more prolonged tackles have the potential to stall him at the point of attack, so he will need to keep coming up with new ways to counter his outside rush. As he missed the end of the 2022 season due to a torn pec, teams will need to look over his medical history. Now coming in with the 11th pick, the Tennessee Titans will select QB Will Levis coming out of Kentucky. Now after the 2023 season, the Titans can opt out of Ryan Tannehill's deal, which seems inevitable for a retooling team that lost a number of highly compensated veterans this winter. Levis might not play in 2023, but starting in 2024, he and his relatively low cap number would offer Tennessee the chance to start seriously rebuilding the roster. Levis will impress organizations with his abilities since he possesses the necessary combination of size, arm strength, and athleticism to become a franchise quarterback. Now with the 12th pick, I have the Houston Texans selecting wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba coming out of Ohio State. Now with the 2nd pick, the Texans select their quarterback of the future, and with the 12th pick, they select a dynamic pass catcher. With his combination of superior agility, body control, dependable hands, and some run after the catch ability, Smith-Njigba possesses the talent set to become a quarterback's greatest buddy. Smith-Njigba is an expert at running routes, is competitive at the catch point, and has the ability to gain yards after the catch. Now coming in with the 13th pick, the New York Jets select tackle Paris Johnson Jr. coming out of Ohio State. Now whether Aaron Rodgers signs with the Jets, the offensive line needs to be strengthened. With Johnson's gifted athleticism, remarkable length, and versatility, he has experience starting at both guard and tackle. New York will have plenty of options on the offensive line in 2023 and beyond. Johnson offers starting experience on both the inside and the edge, and has the ability to build and feet to be able to, be a left tackle from day one. Now with the 14th pick, the New England Patriots select defensive back Devin Witherspoon coming out of Illinois. Now, although Jonathan Jones, a seasoned cornerback, was re-signed by the Patriots to a 2-year contract, the team still needs to bolster its cornerback depth. Although being little, Witherspoon plays with a fierce demeanor. He provides New England another ball-hawking playmaker in the secondary and excels in both man and zone looks. Witherspoon is a tenacious cornerback who sets the tone for his team by locking down his opponents in man-to-man coverage and delivering crushing blows. Now with the 15th pick, the Green Bay Packers will select tackle Broderick Jones coming out of Georgia. Now the organization needs to start looking for a replacement on the blind side, even if veteran starter David Bakhtiari does return healthy in 2023. Bakhtiari has missed 23 of 35 possible games over the past 2 seasons. That includes playoffs. Jones provides the team a long, athletic left tackle who might be a pillar in the future. Jones, who anchored the offensive line for Georgia's national championship team, is an athletic, fluid tackle with a huge build and tremendous upside. Now coming in with the 16th pick, I have the Washington Commanders selecting defensive back Joey Porter Jr. coming out of Penn State. Despite the fact that the Commanders have many more urgent requirements, Porter is simply too intriguing a talent to pass up at this time. The Penn State star adds another ball hawk to Washington's secondary with his exceptional length and coverage instincts. Porter is a powerful quarterback with an uncommon length who makes plays on the ball and is stingy in his coverage. Now next with the 17th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select tackle Darnell Wright coming out of Tennessee. Now the Steelers are in severe need of adding more quality to their offensive line, so they take this opportunity to do so by snagging Wright to play right tackle. The Volunteer is an aggressive brawler who provides tremendous power in the running game and just the proper amount of saltiness for pass protection. He will be a great assistance to both Najee Harris and Kenny Pickett. Wright is a tough, seasoned right tackle who plays the position with dominance and physicality. He may start on the first day and step in a variety of positions in an emergency. Now coming in with the 18th pick, the Detroit Lions select tight end Michael Mayer coming out of Notre Dame. Now by signing Mayer, a dynamic tight end who can open up openings in the run game and make plays as a receiver in the end zone, the Lions strengthen their emerging offense. He's just one more personification of the kneecap-biting attitude Dan Campbell is fostering in Detroit. Mayer is a prototypical wide tight end who can have a significant impact in both the passing and rushing games. He ought to start right away. Now coming in with the 19th pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select tackle DeWand Jones coming out of Ohio State. Now the Buccaneers want some assistance on the offensive line following the release of longtime starter Donovan Smith. Tristan Wirfs' likely replacement at left tackle makes Jones a day one starter for the Buccaneers on the right side. He is a mountain of a man who will bolster the offensive line's ferocity and strength. Jones possesses uncommon size and knows how to make advantage of it. He moves opponents in the running game and has a talent for performing well as a pass protector. Now coming in with the 20th pick, the Seattle Seahawks select running back Bijan Robinson coming out of Texas. Now if Seattle selects this player, analytical Seahawks supporters would go insane, but head coach Pete Carroll and general manager John Schneider have a history of defying expectations. At the Combine, Schneider emphasized that the team's success in the previous draft resulted in part from neglecting needs and selecting only the players with the best ratings. Robinson, however, is a star player who can undoubtedly increase the explosiveness of Seattle's offense. With Kenneth Walker III, the breakout sensation from the previous year, he would deliver a terrifying 1-2 punch. Robinson is the most complete running back prospect since Saquon Barkley, and he should produce in big volumes from day one because of his 3-down skill set. Now coming in with the 21st selection, I have the Los Angeles Chargers selecting wide receiver Zay Flowers coming out of Boston College. Now Flowers gives the Chargers offense the additional speed they need. Nevertheless, the Boston College star offers quick separation abilities in the short and intermediate ranges as well, making him more than just a deep danger. He is the ideal foil for Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and will give Justin Herbert another playmaker to throw to. Flowers can line up anywhere on the field and is a skilled route runner with outstanding quickness to shake coverage. Now coming in with the 22nd pick, I have the Baltimore Ravens selecting edge rusher Lucas Van Ness coming out of Iowa. Now the Ravens must strengthen their trenches now that Calais Campbell has left. They do this by signing defensive lineman Van Ness, who can play many positions and provides explosive athleticism and outstanding size to the position. Baltimore now has another pocket disruptor who can line up either inside or outside. Thanks to the Iowa standout, Van Ness can contribute on all 4 downs and has a prototypical frame with good quickness and flexibility. He is still ascending. Now with the 23rd pick, I have the Minnesota Vikings selecting wide receiver Jordan Addison coming out of USC. Now with Adam Thielen gone, the Vikings' second receiving job I should say, is open for grabs. Justin Jefferson benefits greatly from Addison's superior route running skills, solid ball handling, and some yards after catch ability. The Trojans should give Minnesota a formidable pass catching, trio with, or not even trio, I think it'll be a solid wide receiver group with Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, KJ Osborne, and TJ Hawkinson. Addison is a gifted pass catcher with astute route running abilities. He produced a lot in college and is expected to make an impact right away in his professional career. Now with the 24th pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars select defensive back Kelly Ringo coming out of Georgia. Now Ringo has a lot of characteristics that the Jaguars adore. He meets the criteria for GM Trent Bulk's high upside swing due to his combination of size, speed, and ball abilities. Ringo offers Jacksonville the opportunity to field a solid bunch of cornerbacks in opposition to Tyson Campbell. Ringo provides a high upside thanks to his unusual combination of size, speed, and ball abilities. Now with the 25th pick, the New York Giants select wide receiver Quentin Johnson coming out of TCU. Now although signing Paris Campbell in free agency and extending the contract to Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, the Giants are still improving their receiver core. Daniel Jones' life should be a little bit easier thanks to Johnson, who gives the club some size and yards after catch ability on the outside. Teams are constantly hunting for receivers with his caliber of big play potential because Johnston possesses a difficult to find combination of size, agility, and speed. Now coming in with the 26th pick, I have the Dallas Cowboys selecting tight end Dalton Kincaid coming out of Utah. Now, the Cowboys turn to the draft in order to add a pass-catching tight end after losing Dalton Schultz to free agency. Kincaid is an explosive route runner who distinguishes against coverage and gains significant yardage after the catch. Kincaid will provide Dak Prescott with another seam-running threat in the middle of the field, in addition to CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and the recently acquired Brandon Cooks. With his size, speed, and superior body control, Kincaid is a very effective pass catcher who is also dangerous after the catch. Now coming in with the 27th pick, I have the Buffalo Bills selecting wide receiver Jalen Hyatt coming out of Tennessee. Now Hyatt is a top deep threat and big playmaker, which makes him a fantastic match for the strong-armed, combative Josh Allen. The winner of the Biletnikoff will make things difficult for opposing defenses since they will have to choose their poison when it comes to coverage along with Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. One particularly valuable skill Hyatt possesses is the capacity to overwhelm defenses and produce spectacular plays. He's a field tilter who has the defense's full attention. Now with the 28th pick, the Cincinnati Bengals will select tight end Luke Musgrave coming out of Oregon State. The Bengals hope to replace the void left by Hayden Hurst's departure in free agency by signing Musgrave now. The Beaver star has high-end speed up the seam in addition to yards after catch generating athleticism. He missed the majority of the 2022 season. He will offer Joe Burrow another significant target across the middle and in the end zone, and he makes me think of Tyler Eifert, a former Cincinnati star. Musgrave can widen the field with his dazzling blend of size and gazelle-like quickness. Early in his career, he should be a creator of mismatches. Now coming in with the 29th pick, I have the New Orleans Saints selecting inside defensive lineman Brian Bresee, coming out of Clemson. Now the Saints are looking to replenish their defensive line after losing David Onyemata, Shai Tuttle, and Marcus Davenport to free agency. Bresee is long, big, and agile, giving him the versatility to line up on the defensive line from various positions and disrupt the pocket. Bresee is a length, strength, and versatility interior defensive lineman who penetrates the quarterback. Now, with the 30th pick, I have the Philadelphia Eagles selecting safety Brian Branch coming out of Alabama. Now, as C.J. Gardner-Johnson left in free agency, the Eagles sought to add defensive backs to the group. Although being little, Branch has exceptional instincts and adaptability. Now, with the 31st pick and the last pick of the draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select edge rusher Keon White coming out of Georgia Tech. Now, with the addition of White, the Chiefs doubled down on the position after signing Charles Onaminu in free agency. White is a long, powerful rusher. The Yellow Jackets standout offers defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo a wide range of options up front with the 3-down skill set and ability to play across the line. White is a pass rusher with a good get-off and plenty of bend, who is long, strong, and highly athletic. He is still honing his craft. And that'll be all for today's draft. Now, the reason that there's not 32 picks is that Miami had to forfeit their pick this year and their 2024 first round pick, so there's only going to be 31 picks in this draft. So that's going to make it a little bit interesting, but definitely nice to see what we have in this draft class. But that's about it for this one. Make sure you go ahead down there, leave a comment, who you thought your team should draft. Also, while you're down there, go ahead and leave a like, and also hit that subscribe button, and as well as share with anybody that you think may want to know any more about who their team has in their mock draft. But other than that, you can also listen to this on Spotify. That'll also be down in the link in the description. And if you're down there, go ahead, leave the podcast a 5-star review and follow if you want to. That'd be highly appreciated. But again, that'll be all for today's episode. Thank you all for listening and watching all the way through, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.